Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing. Hi guys, welcome to episode 138 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. I am so glad you're here. You know how you have those friends or family members that you know when you're with them it's going to be fun? That's how I feel about my favorite podcasts. Like I know they'll be inspiring or I'll learn something, so I'm always looking forward to the next episode. And the fact that you're here listening means we connect in a way, and I love that. Don't forget to leave a review if you're enjoying the episodes. Okay. I talked about this in a recent episode where there's a movement where people are starting to recognize they have to exercise their mental muscles just like they do their physical muscles. People are realizing it's super important to protect their minds from distractions, which cause us to live on autopilot, sort of, where everything we do is routine and we aren't learning new things. We're not even open to trying new things because we want to be comfortable. And we've lived long enough to know how to be comfortable, so we stay doing the same predictable things. We could basically repeat our daily life in our sleep. Does that sound familiar at all? If it does, don't despair. We can fix it. That's the great news. So have you ever seen the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? I love that movie. Jack Nicholson is brilliant, but it sticks with you because of what happens. Now, he is a charming, mischievous character who's been in prison, but he doesn't want to be transferred to a hard labor camp, so he gets himself put in a mental ward by acting insane, even though he is not. Long story short, you kind of fall in love with his personality, but the resident nurse is really hateful and ultimately ends up scheduling him without his consent for a lobotomy, which turns him into a zombie, which is really sad. It's actually kind of disturbing, but that was a procedure that they actually used in the 70s. So a lobotomy is where they remove or deactivate the frontal lobe part of your brain. Now, that part of your brain is the part that basically is your personality and your decision making. Now, they don't do that procedure anymore, thank goodness. But it turns out if we have allowed ourselves to fall into a life that's completely routine, where we've stopped growing and learning and having new experiences, then we can actually cause our frontal lobe to stop functioning fully. I mean, it can be deactivated or even asleep. Now, the good news is, unlike a real lobotomy, if we have allowed ourselves to go to sleep or to have that frontal lobe go to sleep, we can do something about it because it can make the difference between living a life we're excited about and living a life where we're just waiting to retire. So what does it look like if the frontal lobe is not functioning fully? Well, it can cause us to feel lazy and listless or uninspired, unmotivated, where we have the desire for just routine and predictability. It also has us easily distracted, where we dislike change. Does any of that sound familiar? I mean, are we basically lobotomizing ourselves by living on autopilot? How often do we just allow ourselves to sink into the familiar feelings we get from scrolling or watching the news or the latest Netflix episode? How often do we find ourselves talking about Netflix or TikTok or social media rather than what we're learning that's new or what we're excited about doing that's new? I mean, it doesn't mean those things are all bad, but if they come at the expense of a life that you're excited about, is it really worth it? I mean, it takes very little brain power to perform the things that we do regularly, especially watching TV. In fact, one study showed that you burn less calories sitting watching TV than you do just resting with the TV off, which was pretty crazy to me. All right, so what does it look like if our frontal lobe is active and awake? Well, we feel joy, we have the ability to plan and stick to the plan, we're very focused and disciplined towards our goals, and we have the ability to hold an idea that is independent of external circumstances. That's a big one right now, I think. I mean, how many of us have seen, especially in this last year with COVID and masks, that people just sort of lost their common sense? For a time, I think most of us did. Now, When we're focused on drama, which is basically what we get from news shows and politics and all those talk shows, all the good things that, that are on the news lately, you're actually allowing your thoughts to be controlled by your old brain, which disables your frontal lobes of the brain. And without those, remember, you can't think clearly, make rational decisions, or control your responses. I don't know about you, but I, for one, want to make sure my brain is firing on all cylinders. And in order for that to happen, we have to steer clear of a lot of the drama that the news shows us. And the media is throwing us drama all the time. That actually does shut down part of the brain that's the intellectual part. So we have to be aware of that. We also need to be consistently learning new things. Learning doesn't have to stop after college. When we were younger, we were learning all the time. We thought nothing of learning new things or trying new things. So much of what we do becomes routine because we do it every day, like driving or brushing our teeth. Even our work can become routine. Maybe we do the same things with the same people, going to the same places. Even for vacation, we'll do the same thing. It's comfortable and we know how it's going to make us feel. That's why we do it. I have to say, there have been many times where I wasn't excited about going somewhere because I didn't know several of the people that would be there, only to find that I thoroughly enjoyed talking to someone new. It happened just this last week. Wonderful conversation about interesting topics is another way to keep that frontal lobe activated. It's exciting to me to know that we don't have to settle for just that normal aging brain. We can actually stimulate new brain cells by exercising those mental muscles. I knew I loved to learn and try new things, but I honestly didn't realize how important it is to the actual development of new brain cells. So my challenge to you this week is to take a look at your weekly routine. Are there things you can do to throw a new experience in here or there? Maybe take a different route to work. Try a new restaurant. Is there something you've been wanting to learn or a class you want to take? Sign up for it. Maybe a new yoga class or a language class. It really can be that easy to fire up that front part of the brain and make you feel more excited about your life. Who knew? The life of your dreams actually is just outside of your comfort zone. It's never too late, and you are never too old. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in a few days. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.